The right to remote working is non-existent. The reality is that the employee's right is to ask the employer to be allowed to work remotely. All the employer has to do, however, is consider the request fairly and objectively, and the employer's duty is discharged. Amazon have ordered all of their employees back to the office, and it'll be interesting to see how other large employers react to Amazon's move. A lot of American multinationals in particular are probably watching how Amazon get on with this decision. Did you know that Amazon has 4,000 employees in Ireland working in their cloud computing arm, AWS, alone? That gives you a lot of clout with any government and in the input in any submissions in relation to legislation. When the legislation for remote working was being drafted to deal with the question of remote working, the American Chamber of Commerce Ireland was a significant voice in the discussions and meetings designed to capture the concerns of interested parties. Obviously, they'd be representing the views of American multinationals in Ireland. The American Chamber got what it was looking for. What it was looking for was that the employee should have completed probation, should have completed the requisite training required, and developed an understanding of what the role entails. And these requirements are pretty much reflected in the relevant legislation, giving the employee the right to request remote working. The key point though from the legislation is that the employer only needs to consider the request in an objective, fair and reasonable manner. That is what TikTok did in its case from the WRC, a case TikTok won in resisting the employee's claim to remote working. I'll put a link up here to the TikTok case. It's one of the first sort of high profile cases, I suppose, in this whole area of remote working, and it's one that other employers, I'm sure, and employees will be watching carefully. But you can have a look, as I say, I'll put a link up here on my YouTube channel to that TikTok case. The bottom line is TikTok went through the necessary steps in looking at their situation, dealing with the request for remote working objectively and fairly, and essentially they said no. And they won their claim, or they won their case, insofar as they were successful in defending their case against the claim from the employee. I hope you find this video useful. If you do, I'd appreciate if you hit the thumbs up button down below, and you may be interested in subscribing to my YouTube channel. If you are, just hit the subscribe button. Thanks a lot.